Hello, class 8. We were discussing about the last chapter that we had is metals and non-metal, which was a very important chapter. And I hope that you are now you are having the good concept about metals and non-metals. And if you have any confusion, you are most welcome to clear your doubt. So today we are going to start a new chapter, coal and petroleum. And this, you know, that coal and as well as petroleum is a very important part. It has become a very important part in our life because like as you know that coal is a form of carbon, and along with the other forms, that is graphite, then diamond. So that means the different allotropes of carbon is one of the form is also one of the form of carbon is coal. So when we are talking about coal, actually it gives out energy. Like when we need to burn out, it is a form of a fuel, and that is what when we burn out, especially it is used in the brick industry, and that brick industry will be almost come to stop for most of the, though now they are taking the help of the electricity to burn the bricks. So still then there are so many places where coal is being used as a fuel, and it is also used to heat up the rooms in very cold places. So when you are talking about the natural resource, what do you mean by it is a natural resource? No, carbon is a coal is a natural resource, and it is a form of carbon, and you know that carbon is a non-metal. So it is an indispensable part for it forms the basic basic part of every human being, and also all the matters that is present in us. So as we talk about the natural resources, please remember that living things, they originate and involve in the earth. Why do living things on earth originate? And this actually the materials which are required by living things, like the water, then soil, because without soil we won't be able to stand. Even leave about building a home, we will have to stand, because that is because, and then soil provides you the resource for the plants to make it grow, because all the plants, they most of the plants, they grow on soil, though there are some aquatic plants which can live inside the water. So these the terrestrial or the plants which grow on the soil, so it forms the basic part of it. So even the agricultural food that we consume, it comes from the soil, and then we have to build our homes over the soil. And then there are some mineral resources like coal, petroleum, which form an indispensable part of our life. Then water, without water we will not be able to live even for a few days. And then we need air to breathe in, and this breathe in and breathe out, that like when you are taking in air, then we take in oxygen from the atmosphere, and then we give out carbon dioxide, which is being utilized by the plants to go for their process of making food by the by the process of photosynthesis. So these are actually the major resource that is present on the earth, and that is why living beings can survive on this earth. Now, as you know that even the solar energy, that is the sun, which gives out the energy, now it is being trapped to actually help us in getting the supply of electricity, and where it is pollution free and it is cost less expensive. So solar plates you will see in most of the places now in India and all over the world, where solar plates are installed, and then they trap the solar energy, and then those are used for the electricity purpose. So and you know that what life exists on the earth, because the earth is at a very uh, it is at a very comfortable distance from the sun, because actually where the distance from the sun of earth is at a right distance, and then what happens, it is not too hot, not too cold, and that is why the life on earth can exist. So this light energy that we receive from the sun, as I told you, it plays an important role which is necessary for the survival of the life. Now, how do we need to utilize this resource? Now, it is a very important fact that we have to be very careful about the utilization of the resources that are present on the earth as naturally, or we also manufacture it. So what happens here is that plants, they use carbon dioxide from the air. As we know that the air that we take in, we consume oxygen and then we give out carbon dioxide. And then what happens when we give out carbon dioxide? That carbon dioxide is being utilized by the plant to prepare their own food by the green plants in the presence of chlorophyll and also in the presence of sunlight. So that helps the plants to utilize one of the resource. That means it also helps to make a balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. That means the carbon dioxide that we give out is being utilized, and then the oxygen which is being given out as a byproduct in the process of photosynthesis, we consume it for our breeding purpose or for the respiration purpose. So that's what it takes place in the green plants and in the presence of the green pigment, that is chlorophyll, which is present in the green leaves. Now, animals, as you know, we require oxygen, then we require water, and also we need food to survive. Otherwise, without air, without water, without food, we cannot survive. So we get this oxygen from the air and water bodies. And like, what are the water bodies? It is the ponds, lakes, rivers, seas, oceans, and the plants that we from the plants or the other animals. And then, of course, we human beings also, obviously, we cannot survive without food and this air and water, and we use this resource from the earth in the several ways. Now, we use the rocks and soil to construct house, dams, right? And then we also use metals like iron, aluminium, then copper, etc. Why? To build our homes. Then buildings, different buildings are being now, lots of high-story buildings and flats are being prepared. And without iron or aluminium, we cannot construct the buildings. And this metals helps us to in fact construct buildings. And then also it is used for making machines. Then even the cars and vehicles that we require, then aeroplanes, then utensils, and also other households, household materials. Now, we use fuels for what purpose? We use fuels for cooking. The LPG that we we use it in the gas stove that we use it. It has the natural gas, that is also a form of fuel. So we use it to run the vehicles, because we have to fill our vehicles with petrol, diesel, or nowadays even CNG. The compressed natural gas is being used to fill up the vehicles so that it acts as a fuel. And then also it is used for as I told you, for running machineries in the factories and industries, and also it is used for producing electricity. So these natural materials that are present on the earth and that allows the life to exist on earth and they are actually the natural resources, that means which we get it from the nature, like soil, like even coal and petroleum is a natural resource because we get it from the earth's crust, and it is a form of a fuel. And then we have the air, water, soil, and the natural resource, which are non-living natural resources, right? So these are non-living natural resources, and we get these natural resources from the earth's crust, that is the solid part of the soil, the earth's crust, then the water bodies like, as I told you, ponds, lakes, rivers, seas. These are from the air, water bodies, and also the atmosphere that we get it from the gas. So the gas we require for our living purpose, for survival of the life, we get it from the atmosphere, which is present in our surroundings. So without this, it is very difficult to make the life exist on Earth. Next is what is renewable and non-renewable resource. Now renewable. Now, when you are talking about renewable, that means you can renew it. That means you can get back the water. That is the water part. That is the water which we get it from the water bodies. That is a renewable because we get it from the rain. Then it again comes back as from the melting of the snow. So these are actually renewable resources are those which that does not get run out. That means even if you use it, we can use it in a most profitable manner, and it does not hamper the re-existence of that resources. However, as you know that as the pollution of the atmosphere or the surroundings has caused lots of damages to the environment, and then also it is actually playing havoc, and that is why the amount of rainfall has decreased and the temperature has increased. So that means here also you should save water for the future, though you are not having that problem, but there are still some areas where there is dearth of water. So those as I and then the like the sunlight, it is a renewable resource because as much as solar energy that we use it, we can use it again and again. And non-renewable resources are those resources that if you do not use it in a proper way and without proper thinking, then at one time it will get exhaust and we will not be able to get back that resource. Now, coal, petroleum are all non-renewable resources. So I'd like to end my class over here, and we will have further discussion. Until that time, you have a good time ahead. Thank you very much.